From doppelgangers to disappearing objects and more, here are 10 stories about glitches in the Matrix. Story 1. The nightgown that returned itself. I bought a deep purple nightgown from Amazon. It arrived and I loved it. Beautiful deep purple color, so soft and fit perfectly. I began wearing it every night. It washed well too. One night, I couldn't find it in my drawer. I thought I must have tossed it in the laundry and forgot. Laundry time came and went. No purple nightgown. Looked under the bed, in the closet, behind the washing machine, the usual places for missing items. I kept wearing an old nightgown. Then, last Monday, I got an email from Amazon saying they received the return of my nightgown and $35 had been refunded to my account. I thought to myself, how could they have made that kind of mistake? I didn't return the nightgown, I loved it. Had washed it. Threw the packaging out just a few days after I received it because I liked it so much. I was about to contact Amazon and tell them some kind of mistake had been made when I remembered I can't actually find my nightgown. I wonder if I find it will my refund disappear? I may just order it again with my refund and see if I get to keep it this go around. Story 2. My dad talked to my doppelganger while I was in my room. This happened a few years ago, but we realized it while discussing it today. My dad showed me how he opened my door and I immediately went, "That's not where my door handle is." And we told each other our story in detail. So this is what happened. My room's door has a curtain over it because I've accidentally broken the door's glass over and over again since my childhood, so in order to have privacy, we had a green curtain over. While my dad is in front of the curtain, he saw a hand reaching for him through the curtain, so he thought it was me joking, and he tried to hit the hand. When he tried to reach, the hand was moving away and he couldn't feel the hand at all. It was empty. The hand wasn't visible, only the movements of it were. I was 18 at the time, and I was in my bed reading. My dad randomly opened my door and asked, "That wasn't your hand, right?" And I didn't know what he was talking about. I answered, "What hand? What are you talking about?" Then he told me a hand reached out for him under the curtain. I said, "No, it wasn't me. I was here reading my book." So from my perspective, I thought he had an experience outside my room before entering it. While discussing it today, he told me he experienced it while he was in my room. This is his perspective. He says that he came to my room to do something and I was in my room too. I got up, opened the door, closed it, and went to the living room. A hand reached through the curtains for him, so he thought I was trolling, tried to hit it. Then he went to the living room because that's where I went, and he saw me sitting there by myself. He asked me if the hand was mine, and I said, "No, it wasn't," aka my doppelganger. Then, the doppelganger got up, went to my room again. Dad spent some time in the living room telling this story to my mom. Then he came back and opened my door, asked me, "You're not baiting me, right? That really wasn't your hand?" He says that this is his second time asking it, since I answered the first one in the living room. I didn't answer the first one. He only asked me once, and I was in my bed while answering it. That's why all this time I thought this thing has happened outside my room, while my dad swears he chased me to the living room because he thought I was trolling him. I was in my room the whole time and didn't even see my doppelganger myself, but my dad chased her, asked her a question, she answered, went back to my room, so after some time passed, my dad came back to ask me again to make sure I wasn't messing with him. I genuinely remember how I didn't understand his question. I was like, "Hand? What hand? What are you talking about?" If I heard that question before, I wouldn't be so confused. A couple weeks before this, I saw my mom's doppelganger checking on me while I was sleeping. It was 7 a.m., so it was morning. I opened my eyes and saw her going back inside her room. I chased her to ask, "Mom, what happened?" Only to find my real mom is in a deep sleep. So this isn't something my dad created. There might be a shapeshifter in the house. Story 3. Disappearing objects in my house. My girlfriend and I have a running joke in our house when we can't find stuff. We say, "It hasn't loaded in yet," as we often seem to find ourselves searching for stuff and finding it in a place we have both looked. Tonight was weird though. She was working on an art piece and she needed a hole puncher, so she got up and looked for some time only to find it on the chair she was sitting on, which was right next to me. And it wasn't there when she was looking as I peeked around the area. She goes to resume her work, and her piece is now gone. After she looked for some time, I joined in on the search. After about 30 minutes of searching, we stood in the bedroom and I tried to make a joke out of it, and she expressed how sad she was because she wanted to work on it. I continued searching for another few minutes and we gave up. She asked if we could go smoke a cigarette, and I looked on the bed where the cigarettes were, and there it was, a small painting in the middle of the bed, nice and neat. 4. Strange experience has me wondering if I'm losing it. Just a bit of background. No serious mental health problems other than some mild anxiety and depression. I take 25 milligrams of Zoloft, so I don't think I'm tripping or hallucinating. This morning, I woke up for work, left a little earlier than usual because I woke up before my alarm, filled my water bottle, grabbed my access card, and got in my car and drove off. My commute is the same every day. 40 minutes, it's mostly interstate, and there's always traffic. While my car was warming up, I picked an album to listen to for the drive there. I usually make it about 3/4 of the way through an album before I get to work. Every day is a new album. So I did all that. I drove to work. I remember being cut off. I remember being in standstill traffic towards my exit. I remember the album I listened to. I even remember responding to a text using Siri. I remember seeing a type of car I've never seen before in the United States. I remember thinking to myself, I'm glad it's not as hot today. I definitely drove. So I get to work, pull into the same parking space I take every day, step out of my car, and lo and behold, I'm still in front of my apartment building. 40 minutes later, almost done with the album I put on. What was I doing? Where did I go? Story 5. Extremely bizarre experience. Witnessed a hexagonal grid pattern in the sky. Has anyone else experienced this phenomenon? It was 2017 and I cannot forget that evening. I was standing on my patio just outside of an apartment building that backs up to a small concrete retention pond. There had just been a thunderstorm and the sky looked so magnificent that evening. It was dusk, still a good bit of light but not quite dark outside. Sometimes after a summer storm, the sky can appear a greenish blue color. I'm trying to describe the conditions as best as I can. My boyfriend at the time came out onto the porch to join me and we were chatting about the strange color scheme in the sky. I looked over to the northeast, across the retention pond, and noticed a vast pink and purple hexagonal shaped grid pattern covering a large portion of the sky. I had to double take what I had just witnessed. I immediately turned to my friend and asked him, "Do you see that?" His eyes were wider now and he responded, "There's a grid covering the sky." It went on for what seemed about 1 or 2 minutes. I was so confused about what I was seeing. I asked my friend again, "Are you messing with me?" I could without a doubt see a pinkish blue grid covering the northeast portion of skyline. It was incredible. My friend saw the exact same thing. We were both 100% sober at the time. I have researched this a bit, but can't find anything relevant. I've recreated the image from memory using AI, and the outcome was almost identical to what I saw that evening. This truly blew me away. At first, I assumed it was some kind of ball lightning or a possible weather phenomenon. I just can't say what exactly I experienced. I think about it often and would greatly appreciate any feedback. Has anyone else experienced this phenomenon? Story 6. The Gold Tooth. This happened almost 10 years ago, and I still think of it. When my grandma passed, I drove across the country to see her before she passed. Afterwards, me and the kids were helping Dad go through her house. A few days into this, I was driving to her house and my daughter wanted chapstick. I told her where to find it in my purse. Then she asked me why I had a tooth in my purse. What? She showed me a gold-looking crown and I asked her to put it back in the pocket for later. I was confused but thought maybe my dad had found it and put it there for safekeeping. When I saw my dad, I asked him about it. He had no idea. He said if they knew that they had that, they would have sold it. Poverty-stricken and broke was the life then. So, I still have a solid gold crown of a large tooth. I have no idea where it came from. It just appeared in my purse. I'm hesitant to sell it. It feels like a ghost gift, and I'm scared to piss off the universe. A lot of weird stuff happens to me. This is the one I think about most. Story 7. My phone vanished while it was in my hand. So 3 weeks ago, I was in my friend's apartment. The place always had weird things happening, like the TV turning on by itself and playing music at night. There were random sounds of hitting and knocking. We kept just joking that it was a peaceful ghost playing around. Anyway, I was walking in the hallway of the apartment at night while holding my phone and playing music. I was sleepy, so I was just heading to bed, when suddenly the phone jumped out of my hand. I did not drop it. It was like something pushed it out of my hand, and it vanished in thin air. I didn't hear a drop sound. The music stopped playing the moment the phone left my hand. Immediately I started checking underneath me and couldn't find anything in the entire hallway. So I figured maybe I'll just go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, look for it. Of course, me and my friends searched every corner of the house and flipped everything upside down, and we still couldn't find anything. I then tried to use Find My iPhone before 24 hours passed, and we couldn't call it because the battery had died. It shows the last location is still in the apartment. We kept searching for a whole week with no luck. I asked in a polite way for them to return the phone, but 3 weeks later, nothing. I still haven't found it. Story 8. Missing wallet reappeared in my pants while I was wearing them 3 months later. In June, I lost my wallet after a night out. I'm pretty responsible and don't lose important things. It was very bizarre. I was out at a bar with some friends, walked home, and had a recollection of taking my wallet out of my pants at the end of the night. I was a little tipsy, but not hammered. I use a slim wallet that only holds a couple cards, not the big bulky type, and I keep my wallet in my front pocket. The next day, my wallet was gone. I called the bar, called the police station, it was nowhere. No one used my card, so I didn't think it was stolen and I was determined to find it. It had my license and a couple credit cards in it, and I didn't want to go through the hassle of ordering new ones. My condo is only 850 square foot and I live alone, so I don't have that much stuff around. I searched literally every drawer and crevice and it never showed up. I reluctantly attributed it to having one too many that night, even though that didn't really seem fair or explain it. After about 5 days, I caved and ordered a new license, cards, wallet, etc. It's now a Friday in September. This might be gross to some of you, but I always wear the same pair of pants to work for a week straight, changing my shirt and undershirt along the way, of course. I don't have a washer and dryer at my place, so this cuts back on laundry, and I sit at a desk all day, so it's not like they get dirty. So, since it's Friday, it's the 5th time this week I've worn these pants. I've also worn and washed them several other times since June. I just got home from work and went to take my wallet out of my pants and put it on the counter like I do every day, and have done every day this week. There were 2 wallets in my pants. The new one and the old one with all my cards still in it. I'm sitting here in absolute shock. Somewhere in between laughing and panicking at the absurdity of it. Number 9. My friend saw me today at the creek, but I was there yesterday. I don't really know how to explain this. Yesterday I was at the creek with my dog playing fetch and in the water. Today, Labor Day, I haven't left the house. A few minutes ago I got a Snapchat video from my friend. I asked her if she saved it so I could post it here. She said no because she was driving. She was driving by the creek and saw us today. I opened the video and was shocked. It was me in the same outfit I wore yesterday. I even posted a story there yesterday. So she either is really messing with me or I can't explain what is going on. Number 10. The Grange finally showed up. About 6 years ago, my teenage kids and I were invited to my cousin's daughter's high school graduation party at their town's local Grange Hall. I've heard of lots of events being held there in the past, although I'd never been there. Also, the town it's in isn't that big and has only a few main roads before you get into the next state over, so it should be easy to find, right? Anyway, the address was on River Road in this town, okay? I put the address in Google Maps and drove there. Or tried anyway. The GPS kept saying we arrived, but there was no Grange Hall. So we drove the rest of the length of River Road. No Grange. We drove back down and onto the next road and off all the side roads. No Grange. I called my cousin and asked what it was near. She said the name of a cross street and one of the other historic buildings that I definitely saw on the way a couple times in our back and forth, but I just could not find this Grange Hall. We eventually gave up trying to find it and went home. Everyone else was at the party, so they all found it easily. Where was it? So, a month ago, I took my son to look at a car he wanted to buy. It was located on River Road in that town. We joked and said, I hope it's not like the Grange and we can find it. We did find the car, no problem. We saw all the buildings and roads that we saw the time we were trying to get to the party. When we left to go home, we turned out of the car owner's driveway and onto River Road, and holy cow, the Grange was right there. Big white building with the name in black right up next to the road. There was No way we could have missed it. My son and I looked at each other in disbelief. This was some kind of glitch. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and check out my other stories worth binging. I'll see you soon.